Welcome back to Fireside Fears. If you enjoyed chilling, immersive horror stories told in the dark, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button. Now let the fire crackle, let the night settle in, and let's begin. The Man in the Vent. I moved into my new apartment because it was cheap, close to work, and the landlord didn't bother with credit checks. I thought I was lucky. I truly did. But the first thing I noticed was the air vent above my bed. It was unusually large, too large for a normal apartment. Wide metal slats, deeper than it should have been, like a tunnel. I asked the landlord about it on move-in day, and he just said, "Old building. The ducts are oversized. Ignore it." I should have listened to the way he said ignore it, like a warning disguised as advice. The first night, I heard faint noises inside the vent. Not rats, not scratching, just slow shifting, like someone adjusting their weight. I stared at the vent for a long time, but eventually I convinced myself it was the building settling, traffic outside, anything rational. I slept. The next morning, I noticed my blanket had been tugged down to my knees while I slept. I brushed it off. People kicked blankets off all the time. But the second night, I woke up feeling cold. My blanket was completely gone, on the floor, folded neatly. I didn't fold it. I didn't even wake up. And that sound was back, soft shifting inside the vent. I turned on my phone's flashlight and pointed it upward. The vent slats glinted. Nothing else. I went back to sleep, but the feeling stayed. Something had been watching me while I slept. The third night is when things became unmistakable. I woke up to the sound of metal tapping, steady, deliberate taps coming from inside the vent above me. I froze. The tapping stopped. Then a whisper drifted down from the dark of the vent. "Are you awake?" I didn't move. I didn't breathe. The whisper came again, slightly louder. "I've been watching you." I reached for my phone, but before I touched it, something moved inside the vent. Heavy, slow, like someone shifting their knees and elbows, crawling. I ran out of the room. I slept in the living room with the lights on. In the morning, the maintenance guy came to fix a leak in the kitchen. When he saw the big vent in my bedroom, he stopped. His face changed. "Nobody told you about 4A?" I asked what he meant. He shook his head like he already regretted speaking. He muttered something about previous tenant trouble, then quickly changed the subject and left. That night, I sat awake, staring at the vent, waiting for something to happen. Midnight passed, then 1, then 2. Nothing. I started to feel silly, like I'd overreacted. I laid down and finally felt myself drifting off. Then a hand came through the vent, fingers curling around the metal slats, thin and pale. I screamed and rolled off the bed. The hand slid back inside instantly. I ran into the hallway and called the landlord nonstop until he finally answered. When I told him what I saw, he only said, "Don't confront it. Just stay out of that room. I'll come in the morning." Confront it. Not confront him. It. I slept on the floor that night, staring at the closed bedroom door. Every so often I heard something heavy drop inside the vent, like knees hitting metal. The next day, the landlord arrived with 2 other guys. Not maintenance workers, just 2 random men carrying tools they didn't know how to use. They climbed onto a chair and opened the vent. The landlord stood far back, like he didn't want to be near it.
When the vent cover finally came off, a gush of cold, stale air burst out. And then nothing. No person, no animal, nothing visible. One of the men shined a flashlight inside. The duct stretched deep, farther than the building should have allowed, too deep. "It goes back at least 20 feet, he said nervously. "There's something on the floor of it." He reached in with a broom handle and pulled something forward. A small pile of objects slid into the room. A comb, a cracked phone, a single shoe, a small stuffed animal missing an eye, and my blanket from the first night. I felt sick. The landlord swore under his breath. "He's back," he muttered. The man with the flashlight said, "We need to seal this, now." They took a metal plate and drilled it over the opening, not just with screws, welded the edges shut. The landlord told me to find somewhere else to stay for the night. No explanation, no apology, just fear in his voice. I went to a friend's house and slept there, one eye open. The next day, I returned to grab a few things. The vent was sealed, solid metal, no way in or out. I felt relieved for the first time in days. That relief lasted until I reached the hallway. There were fresh scratch marks on the outside of my bedroom door, deep ones, nearly gouging through the wood. The landlord showed up an hour later to give me my deposit back in cash. No paperwork. He urged me to leave immediately. So I did. I found a new place across town. No vents above the bed, no strange noises. For the first time in a week, I slept. But last night, I heard tapping. Not from above me, from inside the wall behind my headboard. Soft, slow, familiar. Then a whisper, muffled through the drywall but clear enough to understand. "I found you." And something began crawling. The fire's burning low now. If you enjoyed the story, stay close. There are many more to tell. Until next time, sleep with one eye open. You're never truly alone when you're near the fire.